Look around almost any modern home. A small predator may already rule it. It sleeps wherever it wants. It demands food without hunting. It wakes humans before sunrise. And somehow, we call this friendship. Dogs followed a very different road. Humans selected them for useful jobs: guarding, hunting, herding, and companionship. Cats appear to have arrived differently. Nobody designed the first house cat. No ancient committee approved the plan. We did not march into forests. We did not capture entire cat armies. The cats came toward us. They noticed something humans had created: a new ecosystem full of opportunity, and an almost unlimited food chain. The story begins with grain. Then it becomes a story about mice. Finally, it becomes a story about cats. This was not instant domestication. It unfolded across thousands of years, mostly through tolerance, not command. The evidence comes from bones, art, ancient DNA, and changing landscapes. But scientists still debate important details. So who actually domesticated whom? To answer that, we must rewind. Back before cats needed humans. For most of human existence, people did not live in villages. They moved whenever survival demanded it. They followed migrating animals, seasonal plants, and reliable water. Home was temporary. Wildcats preferred another kind of life. They hunted alone and quietly. Their territory mattered enormously. A moving camp offered little stability. Scraps disappeared when humans moved. Rodent colonies could not become permanent. Humans and wildcats certainly crossed paths. Sometimes they competed for small prey. Sometimes they simply avoided each other. The cat had no reason to stay. The human had no reason to invite it. Their lives barely overlapped. That changed near the Fertile Crescent, where some communities became less mobile. Wild plants were gathered more intensively. People began returning to familiar places. Then they stayed for longer periods. Eventually, landscapes became settlements. This transition was slow and uneven. It happened differently across regions. But its consequences were enormous. Once humans stopped moving constantly, food began staying with them. And that changed the rules for everyone. Farming offered a powerful promise. Food could be produced near home, at least when weather cooperated. Harvests created something entirely new: large amounts of food stored together. A village could survive lean seasons. But storage also created concentration. One cracked basket leaked kernels. One open doorway became an invitation. Mice reproduce quickly when food is abundant. A few visitors became many. Then many became a serious problem. Rodents ate valuable grain. They contaminated what remained. They gnawed through baskets and walls. For early farmers, this was dangerous. Stored food represented months of labor. Losing it could threaten survival. Humans tried barriers and containers. They raised stores above the ground. Still, rodents found weak points. The village had accidentally built a permanent rodent feeding station, and predators could detect it. Owls hunted above the roofs. Snakes entered dark storage rooms. Wildcats approached along the ground. The village had become an ecosystem. Humans were only one part of it. Soon, cats would exploit it perfectly. Imagine the village after sunset. Humans sleep behind mud brick walls. The grain store comes alive. Tiny feet cross the floor. Teeth scrape against woven baskets. Kernels scatter into the darkness. To a wildcat, these sounds mattered. Its hearing detected movement humans missed. Its eyes worked well in low light. Its body was designed for ambush. Soft paws reduced noise. Flexible limbs produced sudden acceleration. A single cat could hunt repeatedly. It needed no human instructions. The behavior already existed. This made the partnership unusually cheap. The village provided prey automatically. The cat provided pest control automatically. The first cats were not pets. They were independent hunters using human space. Humans merely benefited from their presence. Some villagers may have feared them. Others probably recognized their usefulness. Tolerance could vary from person to person. The cats also faced a decision: stay far away and avoid humans, or approach the richest hunting ground. The boldest cats gained more food. That advantage could shape future generations. Domestication had quietly begun. A wild cat approaching people took risks. Humans could shout, throw objects, or see every predator as danger. The safest cats stayed invisible. The boldest came too close. Successful cats balanced both extremes. They watched human movement carefully. They learned when stores became quiet. They entered after people withdrew. Repeated visits reduced surprise. A familiar striped shape returned nightly. Fear slowly became expectation. Humans could identify individual animals. This one hunted near the jars. That one rested beside the wall. Useful animals were less likely chased away. Calmer animals remained closer. Close living created more familiarity. Nobody needed a grand agreement. No ceremony marked the relationship. Daily repetition did the work. A cat hunted rodents. A human chose not to interfere. Both returned the next day. That simple loop was powerful. Benefit produced tolerance. Tolerance produced opportunity. Over generations, opportunity favored cats that could live near people. The village selected without planning. Biologists call this a commensal pathway. One species moves near another to exploit a new resource. Humans did not initially breed cats for precise colors or body shapes. Behavior mattered before appearance. Less fearful cats accessed richer hunting. Less aggressive cats avoided conflict. Both traits improved survival near humans. Those successful cats produced kittens. Kittens inherited genes and early experiences. Village life became increasingly normal. This was not conscious cat strategy. Evolution has no secret meeting. Useful traits simply spread. Humans may also have intervened sometimes. They could protect useful kittens, move cats, or offer scraps. But cats remained capable hunters. They did not depend completely on us. That independence shaped everything later. Dogs increasingly entered human work systems. Cats mostly entered human environments. That distinction still matters. The cat offered a service. The human offered a safe neighborhood. Neither side surrendered complete control. That is why cat domestication feels unusual. It resembles negotiation more than conquest. And the negotiations never really ended. Domestication leaves imperfect evidence. Soft behavior does not fossilize. Archaeologists must interpret physical clues. One famous clue comes from Cyprus. On an island in the Mediterranean, researchers found an extraordinary burial. A cat lay near a human. The burial dates to roughly 9,500 years ago. Cats were not native to Cyprus. Someone had transported this animal across open water. That suggests more than accidental contact. People valued the cat enough to carry it between lands. The burial does not answer everything. It cannot reveal daily village behavior, but it proves a close relationship. Perhaps the cat controlled rodents. Perhaps it became a companion. Most likely, usefulness and affection overlapped. The Cyprus cat may not represent every early human-cat relationship. History rarely offers one neat beginning. Still, it changes the timeline. Humans and cats were connected long before Egyptian temples. The partnership was already traveling. Cats had crossed the sea, and humans had chosen to bring them. Back in farming settlements, cats became part of the background. People saw them every day. Kittens changed the relationship further. Young animals were less threatening. Their curiosity invited interaction. A kitten raised around voices, footsteps, fires, and human smells experienced people as normal. Humans learned cat signals too. Forward ears meant something different from flattened ears and hissing. The relationship required reading distance. Cats approached when they felt safe. Forcing contact could destroy trust. This may explain our modern experience. Cats often choose the quiet person, especially the one ignoring them. Food scraps strengthened the connection. Warm shelters reduced danger. Human settlements improved kitten survival. Humans gained protected grain. Cats gained dependable prey and shelter. Both populations could expand. Affection probably developed gradually. First came recognition, then familiarity, touch, and attachment. The wild visitor was becoming a semi-domestic member of village life. Still independent, but increasingly connected. Settlements did not remain isolated. People traded grain, tools, cloth, and stories across growing networks. Rodents traveled with stored food. They hid inside baskets and boats. Cats followed the same routes. A traveling cat protected supplies. That made it valuable beyond farms. Ports became new hunting grounds. Older models pictured a simple spread from Near Eastern farmers into Europe. Newer genomic work complicates that story. A major study published in 2025 argued domestic cats reached Europe later, largely from North African populations. That does not erase earlier relationships. It shows domestication was not one clean march across a map. Different wildcat populations contributed at different places and times. Humans repeatedly moved useful cats. Trade accelerated the relationship. A cat could leave one harbor and reproduce in another. No passport was required. No breeding registry recorded the journey. Cats expanded inside human systems. By following our food networks, cats began following human civilization. Their range became our range. Egypt offered cats another ideal environment. Agriculture depended on stored grain. Rodent control remained extremely valuable. Cats also hunted snakes and pests. Their speed looked almost supernatural. Their calm confidence impressed people. Egyptian art began showing cats beneath chairs, beside families, and inside scenes of daily life. This suggests more than pest control. Cats occupied social and symbolic space. They became visibly part of home life. Feline qualities entered religious symbolism. Grace, fertility, protection, and power became associated with sacred figures. Later Egyptians mummified enormous numbers of cats as votive offerings. Admiration became an organized institution. But worship did not create cats. The relationship was already ancient. Egypt transformed its cultural importance. Ancient Dana reveals an Egyptian contribution to later domestic cat populations. Maritime movement helped spread it. Cats now carried practical value, cultural prestige, and human protection. Their expansion became much easier. The village hunter had become an animal people deliberately celebrated. Cats were entering history's spotlight. Ships carried the perfect cat problem. Food had to survive long voyages. Rodents could ruin entire cargoes. A shipboard cat needed little space. It hunted while the crew worked. Its value traveled with the vessel. Ports connected farms, cities, and empires. Cats stepped from deck to dock, then disappeared into warehouses. Some remained aboard ships. Others joined local cat populations. Each journey mixed lineages further. Romans helped move cats widely through dense Mediterranean trade networks. Later routes carried them farther. Cats eventually reached Northern Europe, Asia, and distant island communities. The timing differed by region. Recent research keeps revising details. Ancient genomes provide new surprises. The broad pattern remains clear. Humans moved food and goods. Rodents moved inside those goods. Cats moved because rodents did. This ecological triangle repeated globally. Where stored food accumulated, cats could find a role. Without intending to, humans built a worldwide transport system for cats. The passengers simply hunted their fare. Domestic dogs display astonishing variety. Some weigh less than a house cat. Others can pull heavy sleds. Cats show much less structural variety. Most retain a recognizable wildcat body. The basic hunting machine remained useful. Humans selected dogs for many tasks. For cats, one task already worked, catching small animals. Strong artificial selection came much later. Most modern pedigree breeds are recent. Many expanded within the last centuries. Ancient cats were mainly striped. The familiar blotched tabby pattern became common much later. Domestication still changed behavior. Cats became more tolerant of people. Some stress responses softened. Genomes contain signs of selection linked to memory, reward, and responses to human environments. But the transformation was comparatively light. The predator stayed physically capable. Its instincts remained close to the surface. A house cat can cuddle at noon and hunt efficiently after sunset. Both behaviors fit the same animal. We changed where cats lived. We changed how safely they reproduced. We never fully redesigned what they were. Modern behavior becomes easier to understand once you see the wildcat underneath. Your home is still a territory. Windows become observation posts. Shelves become elevated lookout points. Hallways become patrol routes. A paper bag resembles cover. A moving string resembles prey. A cardboard box resembles safety. Sudden evening sprints look ridiculous. For a crepuscular hunter, they are not completely random. Stalking toys practices hunting sequences. Pouncing releases stored energy. Biting finishes an imaginary capture. Scratching is not personal revenge. It maintains claws and leaves signals. The sofa is simply well-positioned. Cats also manage social distance. They may seek attention intensely, then leave without explanation. This is not failed domestication. It reflects the bargain that succeeded. Cats kept more behavioral independence. Even feeding preserves predator rhythms. Small, repeated meals suit cat biology. One enormous dinner is our invention. The animal on your bed is domesticated, but not erased. 10,000 years remain visible. Domestication changed humans as well. We learned to interpret feline signals. Sometimes, not very accurately. Meowing is commonly directed toward humans. Different situations change its sound. Owners still misread many messages. Cats discovered that sound gains attention. A quiet stare may be ignored. A repeated meow is harder to miss. Humans also change our voices. We speak higher and more softly when addressing companion animals. Feeding schedules train both species. The cat appears at a certain time. The human reaches for the packet. A behavior that succeeds gets repeated. The cat learns what moves us. We learn what prevents louder demands. Cats exploit warmth brilliantly. Laps, laptops, blankets, and sunlight all become premium territory. Humans rearrange entire rooms to satisfy feline preferences. Beds, towers, bowls, and doors. This is the joke behind cats domesticating humans. Our behavior changed around theirs. The joke works because it contains truth. Domestication is always a two-way relationship. Cats made us useful too. Utility explains the beginning. It does not fully explain devotion. Somewhere, practical tolerance became affection. Humans respond strongly to young animals. Large eyes and small faces trigger attention and care. Cats offer subtle social rewards. A slow approach feels earned. A chosen lap feels special. Their independence may increase attachment. Affection is not always guaranteed. That makes each moment noticeable. Cats also became symbols in stories. Different cultures admired or feared them. Their mystery survived domestication. Modern ownership deepened the bond. Cats moved fully indoors. Veterinary care extended their lives. Many people now consider cats family. They appear in photographs, routines, and memories of everyday life. The original bargain remains visible. We provide safety and resources. Cats provide presence, behavior, and connection. No single generation planned this outcome. Tiny repeated choices accumulated. A wild neighbor became family. That transformation may be quieter than the story of dogs, but it is no less remarkable. The answer begins with human invention. We created farms and grain stores, but we did not create the first approach. Rodents found our stored food. Wildcats found the rodents. Humans noticed the useful result. We tolerated the calmer cats. Some cats tolerated us. Generations turned tolerance into adaptation. Humans transported cats across water. Trade networks expanded their range. Egypt amplified their cultural importance. Later voyages carried cats farther. Genomes still preserve those movements. New evidence keeps refining the map. Through all of this, cats changed. But less dramatically than dogs. The wild hunter remained recognizable. That is the key to their success. Cats entered human life without giving up the traits that attracted us. So did humans domesticate cats? Yes, over many generations. But cats helped choose the terms. They walked into our settlements, made themselves useful, and persuaded us to keep them. 10,000 years later, they occupy our homes and screens, and still behave like they won.